You're just recording a regular video.
Started.
Okay, is anyone else going to come up?
No.
Does anyone want some water? Good. Because I have to climb through you to get it. But I can get you. Oh, you have, okay. Is everyone comfortable?
Yes, yes.
I must apologize for no light, no fan.
That's okay. That's
What
okay.
can we say? You know? What is your name, Prabhu?
Pankajangri Das.
Pankajangri. You know who that Pankajangri, the Pankajangri, you know who he was? The brother of Janani Vas?
Yes, yes, yes.
And he was my dear, dear friend.
Yeah.
I knew him very, very well.
Yes.
He would come to Australia, and I first met him in 1979. And we were very, very close friends.
Yeah.
And then he got this COVID thing and left body.
Yes.
No, you do. Okay, okay. I will get some wind from you. You're doing. So, Pankajangri Prabhu,
Yes,
Ki
yeah.
Jai. You come all this way. So this is recording, Gokul. So today I'm just speaking to our viewers. We're not doing the regular Jaiva Dharma study of our chapter 11 with the Islam, with the Mullah. That's what chapter 11 is all about. But I'm just going to meet these very nice people from Mysore who's come with the brother of Gokul, and the room is, take the a scan of the room so that people can see. Yeah, so the room is very crowded, so with all devotees. So I'm going to speak to these devotees today, and then I'm going to publish this recording. This is just a recording, not a live stream, after the interaction that we've had. Okay, so let me say some pranam mantras first. Otherwise, without pranam mantra, do you all understand English?
Yes.
Really? You're so educated. It's so good. So good. Dandavas, Dandavas.
You have she's a local.
Ramani Siromani.
Yeah.
Come here. You can explain in Russian what's happening to her.
Сейчас пришел друзья брата, они сейчас хотят общаться, и сегодня будет какая-то такая.
So first of all, I have to offer my Dandavat pranams to my beloved Gurudev. Om Agnati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmaditam Jina Tasmai Shri Gurudev Maha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhika Hitadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. I'm first of all offering Dandavat pranams to my beloved Gurudev Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same again, millions and millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And all the illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya in our line, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. So today I'm very honored that you've all come here to Navadvip Dham, which is such a holy, sacred place. And this Jaiva Dharma is connected with Jaiva Dharma, with this holy land, because it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who gave us Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. So have you heard, you know this book, Navadvip Dham Mahatmya? Yes? You heard, you haven't read. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is like the seventh Goswami. So the Goswamis, they wrote many literatures. You're all sweating and hot. Soon the AC will come on. Anyway, so the Goswamis, they were instructed by Mahaprabhu to uncover the holy places of Vrindavan. And actually when Sanatana Goswami first came to Vrindavan, Rupa came first, and then Sanatana Goswami came afterwards. And Rupa had already left Vrindavan to come back to Puri to have darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the meantime, Sanatana Goswami had come by a different road, and they'd missed each other. Because if you remember the history, Rupa Goswami meets Mahaprabhu in Prayag, You know where that is geographically? Prayag.
Yes.
And then after that, he goes to Vrindavan. After that, he goes to Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami. Then Mahaprabhu goes to Varanasi. And in Varanasi, he meets Sanatan Goswami. And for 2 months, he instructs him in all of the precepts of Sambandha Gyan, in teachings to understand this Sambandha Gyan. And then Sanatan Goswami goes to Vrindavan. So, in the meantime, Rupa Goswami has left Vrindavan to come back to Puri to meet Mahaprabhu again in Puri, where he stays for 10 months this time. And Sanatan Goswami, when he's there, he starts to get many old maps of Vrindavan to try to understand where is Banka Bihari, where is Madan Mohan, where is Gopinath, where is Radha Govinda, where are all these personalities? What the history of Vrindavan was set by Brajanaba, the grandson of Krishna, the great grandson of Krishna. So Sanatan Goswami's job was to go and uncover all these holy places in Vrindavan. This is what the 6 Goswamis did. But why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is called the 7th Goswami, because he came here to Navadvip and he was responsible for uncovering all of the holy places here. This is what he did, especially in that book Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. You must all get a copy of this and read it and teach it to them. This Navadvip Dham Mahatmya goes through every single holy place here and describes all the qualities of it, etc. So this is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is called the 7th Goswami. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also discovered the Yogpit. That wasn't even discovered at that time. This was in the late 1800s. That wasn't even there. How can anyone come to a holy place like today? You've come here if you don't know where is the birthplace of Chaitanya Dev. If you don't know where his birthplace is, you would think this is bogus. This is not correct. There's something missing. It's like the Muslims, they go to Mecca. The Christians, they go to Jerusalem or Bethlehem. So the Vaishnavas, they go to Vrindavan to see Krishna. They come here to see Mahaprabhu. Where is his birthplace? So important to understand the Yogpit. So, did you go to the Yogpit yet?
Yes.
You went? Wow, so good. So good. Even when you touch your head to the ground in front of the deities there, I sense, anyway, a very strong magnetic pull. You know, because this is where God, the Supreme Lord, manifested his pastimes. Right there at the Yogpit. Very, very powerful place. And Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, they live there, their house is there. And also Nrsingadev is just behind there. Because Nrsingadev appeared there for Srivas Thakur. Did you go to Srivas Sangam? You went there too?
Yes.
You took them? Very good, very good. This is actually connecting. To connect with the Dham, we want to connect with the Bhav, the mood of the Dham. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he holds that mood. He wrote Navadvip Bhav Tarangini, this description of all his moods towards Vrindavan as well. So he gives us such a huge amount of appreciation of Navadvip Dham. Not only that, of course, he gives us all the Vaishnava Kirtans that we sing to go along with the Dham too. Again, it's this mood of Bhav. There's 3 types of bhakti. Sadhan Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. Klesh Agni Shubhada. You know this verse? Klesh Agni. Klesh means suffering. Agni means fire. So Klesh Agni means the sufferings have been incinerated, burnt. Klesh Agni. Shubhada means very rare. So this is description of Sadhan Bhakti. It is very special and very rare that someone chooses this personal path to come to the supreme destination. Most in India want moksha, or Durga Ma, or Ganesh, isn't it? What about Mysore? What do they want there?
Durga.
Durga. You know, here is the biggest Durga festival in the whole world. They have more people here during Durga Puja than they do have for Gorpanim. Everywhere are these beautiful palaces built. They can do it so well. I'm just amazed when they get the cloth and they build, and they've really gone into it artistically. So all over this whole area are mandirs for Durga Ma, and the celebrations are enormous. But what are they looking for? They're looking for something in this world. It's called naimitic, temporary, impermanent. Why should we be interested in that? You are spirit soul. Jivera Sarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. This is who we are. Why are we interested in this material? Why do we have so much faith in this material world? So in this book, Jaivedharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he maps all this out very beautifully. So I want you to understand this point while you're here. 3 types of bhakti. Sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, and prema bhakti. So in sadhan bhakti, it's described Klesh Agni Shubhada. And bhav bhakti is Moksha Lukhatakrit Sudurlabha. This is extreme. Shubhada means auspicious. Sudurlabha means very rare. So this Moksha Lukhatakrit means you have thrown moksha away. This is why it's so special for you to come here. I am so much honored that you come. Because to see a bhakta of Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar and a bhakta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very rare in this world. How many people in Mysore are... He doesn't have a fan. He needs a fan. I don't have any fan. Yes, give him a fan. Give him a fan. Oh, you've got an electric fan. Hey, listen. Reach up in the bookshelf there. There's a white fan, electric fan there. Yes. Might as well use it.
Use it.
Give it to somebody. It's a good one. That's my backup electric. Very good. So understand this. I'm going to ask you what this is in a minute, so you have to remember it. So Kleshagni Shubhada is sadhan bhakti. Mokshulabhatakrit is bhav bhakti, and then prema bhakti. Krishna Akashani Chasa. This is Sandra Ananda Visheshatma. Krishna Akashani Chasa. That's the verse that describes prem. So our focus in life is prema bhakti. But in this body, we can only achieve bhav bhakti. Your body is not equipped to withstand the power of prem. It would explode. You cannot hold prem, but you can hold bhav. So you must know this, that the objective of your bhakti, of your practice, is to attain the stage of bhav. This is actually why you've come here. You've come here to see the holy places, but you want to go deeper into your appreciation of what is the process. Mahaprabhu has given us the process. Mahaprabhu is like our bhajan shiksha guru. He was 24 years here in Navadvip and 24 years in the renounced order in Puri. When he was here in Navadvip, he was like Nimai Pandit, and he was experiencing all sorts of exchanges, sambandha, with all the people of Navadvip. Navadvip and Vrindavan are same. They are one. This is Nava Vrindavan. This is New Gupta Vrindavan. This is hidden Vrindavan. It's the same mood. But Puri is more like Dwarka. Everyone in Puri has 4 arms. It's Aishwarya Dham. Even though Mahaprabhu performed such powerful pastimes in Puri, because he was tasting the mood of Vipralamba Bhav, this mood of separation, in Puri, not here. Here, this identity of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna combined. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritya Hladini Shakti Asmat Ekatmanav Apipuri Beda Gatoto. Chaitanyaikam Prakatam Aduna Tadvayam Chaikam Aptam Radha Bhav Dudisupalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. This is who is Mahaprabhu. And it was Swarup Damodar that wrote this verse. Do you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Yes.
So the 5th verse and the 6th verse are both written by Swarup Damodar, describing the identity of Mahaprabhu. If we come here and we want to know about Mahaprabhu, we have to know what is his purpose for coming here. Why did Mahaprabhu come? He came for 4 reasons. First of all, he wanted to taste his own prem. Premras niryase korite ashvadam. This is why he came here, to taste his own prem. And secondly, he came to bestow Raganuga Bhakti, Ragamag Bhakti Loke Korite Prachani. This is why he came. So these are the first 2 reasons. The third reason is to answer the call of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was so disappointed and unhappy because no one was talking about bhakti. Everyone was talking. It's really going to come out. Everyone was talking about
You said
marriage.
4 reasons.
Yes,
I think
I haven't
it's
said
5.
the 4th. No, 4.
Internal.
No. 3 internal, yes,
And
but I'm
2.
just saying the 4th. Oh, did he? Did he? Can you close the windows at the back through the kitchen there? You can do? You have to open the fly screen? Yes, and then close the window. Thank you. Yes. And then close the fly screen again. Yeah. Just it's okay. Yeah, just a little bit, it's okay. That's okay. Take out your. And then yes. Okay. Thank you. We try to keep the cool in. So I'm describing the 4 reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent. First, always you remember, if someone says, why did Mahaprabhu come? Mahaprabhu is the Yuga avatar. He comes only once in the day of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma's day is 4,320,000,000 years, one day. And his night is the same, so 8 billion years is the day and the night. Krishna only comes once. Krishna, Brajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar, he comes once. Many other avatars come, other incarnations. Varahadev, Nrsingadev, Kurma, Matsya, Varaha, all of these personalities, they all come, Kalki, at the end. But Krishna, Brajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar Krishna, only comes once. But who understands why Krishna came? Most people don't know. Queen Kunti, she didn't know. Queen Kunti, she becomes bewildered. You know Queen Kunti? I just remembered you told me they were quite new people. But are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're not new. You're ancient. You're from this land of Bharadvaja. I am new. I am the new person. But you are not new. So I have to explain this to answer your question, because I said I wouldn't talk about Navadvip, but this is about Navadvip. It's also about Jaivadama. So Krishna comes once in the day of Lord Brahma. And no one really knows. Krishna is called Leela Purushottam. He's the person who performs the most beautiful leelas. But who can understand the leelas that he's performing? The people of Mathura and Dwarka, they didn't understand what Krishna was doing. They only heard something from the flower seller, from the battle nut seller, something like that, a little bit, but not very much. When Uddhav went there, especially on Krishna's arrangement, he saw the height of Nanda Baba and Yashoda's prem for Krishna. And then he realized that the prem of the Dwarkavasis is so much less. because Vrindavan is so special. It's called Madhurya Dham. Madhurya Dham. Dwarka is Aishwarya Dham, awe and reverence. But Madhurya Dham, this is Vrindavan. So I have to backtrack a little bit. I was saying the 4 reasons for his advent. Taste his own prem, and that's a special prem that Krishna tasted. Not even Krishna, but Radhika tasted. That's the prem he's come to taste. I think you have to stay here for 2 weeks, and I have to explain all these topics to you and try to unpack them very quickly. But actually, it needs time to. But you understand the topics that I'm saying?
Yes.
You've heard them before?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So you can ask me some questions in between, then I can gauge
Sure.
what your understanding is of these topics. Otherwise, I'll be leaving you that they're all new people, because they're not all new people, really. No. So, I have to say these 4 reasons, otherwise I'll forget. So, taste his own prem, and then give that prem. There's the most beautiful verse, number 4, at the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anapita chirim chirat kurunai bharatino kalo samarapaitam unnata ujvala rasam swa bhakti shriyam. This swa bhakti shriyam is what Mahaprabhu has come to give. He's come to taste this unnata ujvala prem. There's a very simple analogy. Krishna is like sugar. Everyone is tasting the sugar. Everyone is thinking what sweetness there is in the sugar. They're all falling down in ecstasy. But what about the sugar itself? What is the taste of the sugar getting? The sugar can't taste itself. The sugar is called the Vishaya, the enjoyer. That is Krishna. He can't taste himself. He tastes the Leelas, but he can't taste the experience of happiness that the Ashraya or the gopis in the Leela, they taste. They taste a higher pleasure than Krishna. Especially Sri Radhika. The gopis are called the Ashraya. Krishna is called the Vishaya. Krishna is the enjoyer. And the Ashraya are enjoying, are tasting that enjoyer with seva. That is the dynamic. So Mahaprabhu, he wants to taste the height of the sweetness that Radhika experiences, because it's higher than his taste. This is Gaura Tattva. This is what we need to understand. Because I've just said 3 of the main reasons for his descent, and the 4th reason is to give Harinam. The 4th reason, if you chant Hare Krishna, you will understand these topics. Without chanting Hare Krishna, we can't hear these topics even. We're too contaminated. But the Hare Krishna mantra, Golokera Premadana, Harinama Sankirtan, it's coming from the spiritual world. It has the power to purify our consciousnesses so we can understand these topics. Have you all chanted today?
Yeah.
So you can understand these topics. Mother chants so much. She never stops chanting. All day. 1 lakh minimum. So she can understand these topics. Achyuta also. He chants so much. So he can understand these topics. But without this chanting, we don't have the power, the Shakti, to understand the topics. So Mahaprabhu is giving the medicine to understand what is Raganuga Bhakti. Mahaprabhu has not come to give Vaidhi Bhakti. Don't ever think that. He's come to give Raganuga Bhakti.
I have questions in this topic.
What?
Mahaprabhu came before Kalpa.
Another whole day of Lord
Another
Brahma.
whole day Brahma.
Yes.
And before many
Yes.
times came.
Every day of
Every
Lord
time
Brahma, he comes one
wants
time.
to
Give the same thing.
Fulfill his 3 desires again.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
it's again
Because
happens?
they're always growing.
Because he forgets. about
No,
it, no?
he doesn't forget. But the nature of prema and love is it's always expanding.
Mhm.
It is never static. It's always ecstatic. So it's always increasing. Every time he comes, he tastes something fresh.
Ah,
Naveen Krishna. Every time
fresh,
it's new.
it's fresh.
New. Like you're coming every day. You heard so many things, but every time something else comes.
It's fresh. I understand.
So these 4 reasons for his descent, and then there's 3 desires. Goku, underneath there's a little, in the side, yes, one of those Navadu books, yes. So in here, you've all got one of these, huh? I gave today. So in here, where is it now? There's a place, just have to find it, where it's talking about these 3. Oh no, it'll be under the first. Yes. You see on page 22 in here, in this little book, if you've got it, I put the 4 reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent. You've got there? You see here the 4 reasons for his advent. And then there's his 3 inner desires. Because he wants to taste Radhika. So he wants to understand the glories, the Mahima. Radha, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidri Shobhanaiva. He wants to understand the Mahima of Shri Radhika. That's why he comes. That's why Krishna comes with the mood of Radhika. And he wants to understand the Adbhuta Madhurima, the sweet qualities in him that only Radha can appreciate. Just like a mother. A mother can appreciate the qualities in you that no one else knows, because she has so much love for you. No one else knows all of your qualities probably better than your mother. She raised you from childhood, so she knows those qualities very deeply. So Radhika has known Krishna from childhood, so she knows the special sweetnesses of Krishna. So this adbhuta means astonishing. Astonishing, sweet qualities in Krishna that Radhika can perceive. So he wants to taste that. And then the 3rd desire, sokyam kasyam mad anubhavita kidrisham vedilovat, that he wants to taste the happiness that Radha experiences from receiving the sweetness of Krishna's love. Radhika is tasting the sweetness of being the principal lover of Krishna. That sweetness that she tastes gives her a higher taste than Krishna can experience. During the Ras Leela, you've heard of Mahabhav, so all are tasting Mahabhav. Krishna is tasting Mahabhav. But there's 2 stages of Mahabhav that are higher than Mahabhav. That is Rudha and Adiruddha. These are higher stages of Mahabhav. And these are being experienced by some of the gopis, and only Radhika is experienced that Adiruddha Mahabhav. So that's a whole nother topic. But the bliss that they experience is higher than Krishna's bliss. So this is why Krishna wants to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because when Krishna was here, no one really understood what he was doing. Did Mother Yashoda even know what Krishna was doing at night? Not even she knew. Did Nanda Baba know? One time, Mother Yashoda, she always wakes up Krishna every morning, and she sees the scratch marks of Krishna's amorous play. And she's saying, what are these? And Madhu Mangal is there, and he's saying, oh, this is the gopis scratching Krishna. Mother Yashoda said, no, my little boy, he takes my mother's milk. How can this... And then Kundalata, she says, no, they've been fighting. Like this. So Mother Yashoda, she has no idea. How can she have an idea? what her 7-year-old son, 8-year-old son is doing. When they're dancing, they're not 7 and 8 years old. They come to their Kishore age by the arrangement of Lord Brahma. Krishna has 3 ages, his Balya Leela, his Bhokanda Leela, and his Kishore Leela. In the Kishore Leela, when he's a 15 and 3/4 age, or almost 16 years old, that is the age that he performs the Rasa Leela. So all of these pastimes are so sweetly described in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, in the Rasa Panchadaya section, in the Venu Geet, and the Geets, Venu Geet, Pranaya Geet, Gopi Geet, Yugal Geet, Brahmara Geet, in these Geets. Do you read Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes? You read Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amala Purana. We have to read this Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the principle. We have to use our lives to understand all these topics. I really don't know any of you, but you all look like very good devotees to me. You all look like very enthusiastic. We have to be enthusiastic for our Bhagavatam. Our Bhagavatam is the foundation. Our Bhagavatam, these truths will take us into Gaura Leela. So Mahaprabhu, in his Navadvip pastimes, he's experiencing the taste of being a scholar, Nimai Pandit. And he's going to the school of Gangadas in Vidyanagar. You will have to go to Vidyanagar while you're here. And Champahata, and these places, and Mamgachi, and the other places across the river. You can see all these places just, how long are you here for?
Monday. We're leaving on Monday. Day after tomorrow.
Why? Why so less? How dare you come here for so less time? This requires at least 6 months. Minimum. Ma has been here for almost a year now. 11 months.
7 months.
7 months. But only now she's beginning to understand. You must all come and live here. But come for longer next time. At least 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks is a good time. 2 or 3 weeks you can really taste. What I'm explaining today is something about Mahaprabhu. I'm giving some hints. And now I'm going to wait for any questions so I can open the hints. Otherwise, how can I keep... Tell me.
Can you explain about the 3 bhaktis? Like you said, we can only reach the bhav stage,
Yes.
but we cannot experience the
Prema.
Prem Bhakti.
So,
Prem Bhakti is so high that it's described one time that Rupa Goswami, he was sitting in an assembly of devotees, and all the devotees were weeping, listening to the Harikatha. And Rupa Goswami was not, he was just very, very still. And people were thinking, is he experiencing something? And then they put a cotton piece under his nose, and it immediately exploded in flame. Because inside there was so much heat of prem that he was experiencing. If you can reach the stage of Bhav Bhakti, it's very, very high. Even the stage of Nishta is even the stage of Shraddha. You don't attain the stage of Shraddha. Shraddha is always growing. Like you don't surrender and then leave. Surrender is always growing. You understand? So, Shraddha, and then Anartha Nivriti, or Bhajana Kriya is the practice. And then Anartha Nivriti, this clearing stage. You know these stages Rupa Goswami has given. And then after Anartha Nivriti is Nishta. Nishta, when there's no more disturbance. When I cannot take my mind away from Krishna. This is Nishta. Nishta complete. This means I'm not really so interested in the material world anymore. It doesn't have any more attraction for me. My only attraction is actually to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, in that consciousness, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda in Gauradham. So that's Nishta. And then from Nishta is coming Ruchi. What is Ruchi?
Taste.
Taste. And then after Ruchi comes
Asakti.
asakti. And then sakti is that place where there's no imposition. You know that word? There's no, you don't force the mind. You automatically, in ruchi, in that state, there's some pushing a little bit to perform your sadhana. But in asakti, there's no pushing. You're already completely blissful. So that's the stage of asakti. That's a long way off to actually reach that stage. What to speak of the stage of bhav? Bhav bhakti is so high. So in one lifetime, we can achieve the stage of bhav. If we can achieve the stage of bhav, you will be very satisfied. And then in your next life, you will be qualified to take birth from a gopi's womb, and then associate with the Nitya Siddha gopis and come to the stage of prema. But first is bhav.
So
Bhav
how do
bhakti.
we attain that stage?
Huh?
How do you attain that stage?
Stage of bhav, by doing what you're doing, by chanting enthusiastically. You will only attain that stage by sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, lava shastritoi. This lava matre, sadhu sangha, sadhu siddhi hote. Only by this method. This is all the teachings of Jayavadana. Do you read Jayavadana? Why not? Back of the class. I'll give you a copy before you go. Ma, reach behind you. You can see in the bookshelf? Oh no, you can't. You can just stand up in that bookshelf. Just pull the curtain. And you see on the bottom shelf there.
Yeah, that's Jayavadana.
Yeah. Just take one copy.
So I hear
Give to her.
Maharaj, in the asakti stage.
You asked a good question. Keep it. But you have to read it. Just a minute. She's asking about Bhav Bhakti, how to attain Bhav Bhakti. Can you say?
I remember something about asakti.
Asakti.
Asakti, it means when even you chanting, you don't force this. It is automatic.
That's what I just said.
Yes,
I just said
automatic
same.
chanting
Yes,
Mahamantra.
yes,
Even
yes.
you sleep.
That's
it
what I
is
said.
chanting,
Yes,
chanting.
Ruchi, there's some pressure.
Yes.
But in
Asakti is
asakti,
very,
there's
very
no
high.
pressure.
Even asakti, it is very high level.
Yeah,
If you
I
look
just
at-
said the same thing.
But bhava, it is unbelievable.
Bhava is beyond that.
It's very, very.
Yeah, but this stage of Bhav, Shuddha Sattva, Visheshatma, Prem, Suryavam, Samyabhak, Ruchi Bistija Mishnu, Shud, Asu, Bhav, Uchyate. This is describing Bhav. And this is like a ray of the sun of Prem.
Symptoms of Bhava Bhakti, can you please describe the symptoms of Bhava?
The symptoms of Bhav in this Jayavadama are explained in chapter 22.
311.
This is, what is it? Shantya. Kalatvam. What is it? Shantya, Kalatvam. Viraktya, Manasunyata. Ashabandha Samutkanta. Nama Gana Sara Ruchi. Ashaktis Tat Gunad Kine. Pritistad Vishate Stale. If you look in that book now, in chapter 22, let me show you this. Shantya. Such a nice question. Shantya.
311.
Why are you asking me this question? Do you understand the answer already?
No.
Are you making
No,
to
no,
see if I know this or not?
No.
You see,
mentioned-
Didi, on page 510. Look on page 510. Shantya, Avyata Kalatvam, Viraktiya. Shantya is tolerance. These are the 9 symptoms of Bhav. So if you read through this book carefully, the first 12 chapters are all about Sambandha Gyan. What does Sambandha Gyan mean? What is your name?
Anagha.
Anarka.
Anaga. Anaga.
Anaga. Anaga, like snake. No. What is
Ah,
Anaga?
it's no.
Huh?
Naga. Naga.
It's not Naga.
Anaga.
It's Anaga.
Bhagavad Gita Krishna says to Arjuna what is this?
Maharaj, it's not Naga. It's Anaga. Anaga.
Anaga. Anaga. Like Ananga, but not.
Not Anangam.
But Anaga.
Okay.
Okay. I never heard that name.
Anaga is there in Bhagavad Gita.
Really? You have to show me out.
Sure.
Very nice, very nice. So, what I was saying. Oh, the 9 this Jayavadama, The first 12 chapters are all about Sambandha Gyan, which means your relationship with Maya and your relationship with Krishna. Principally, these are described as three vastus, three essential ingredients: Krishna, Maya, and the Jiva. Three. This is in the first chapter described. This is very important appreciation. This sambandha. What is my relationship with this world? What is my relationship with Krishna? What is my relationship between me and Krishna? Who is Krishna? Who is the Jiva? And what is Maya? This is like the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is all about sambandha. All these verses, all describing what is the nature of the relationship between Krishna and the Jiva. Principally what I said to you when we first came in, that we're not the body, that we're the spirit soul. Did I say that or not?
Yes.
I did say that, okay. That we're the spirit soul. This is the first lesson of spiritual life. So the first 12 chapters, I really want you to read this book, because I know this book. You're sitting in the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur right now. This is the very place where Bhaktivinoda Thakur lived for 20 years. 20 years of his life he lived here. This is a guest extension place. But for 20 years he just lived here with his whole family. So there's so much mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur right here. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's walking us through the path to prema. The last 14 chapters of this Jaiva Dharma are all about Rasa Tattva. They're all about Vrindavan. They're all about the relationship between Radha and Krishna, and the Sakhis and the Sakhas are there also. Everything is mentioned. But in the first 12 chapters, it's this relationship between me and Krishna. And it starts off with the spiritual master. The spiritual master, you said, how do I attain Bhav? You attain through the association of higher devotees. Svajatiya. Svajatiya means own group. Those devotees who also want Raganuga Bhakti. We don't want Vaidhi Bhakti. We are all practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, of course, but our intention is to reach Raganuga Bhakti. If you don't talk about Ragmarg, then you're just focusing on Vaidhi Bhakti. That means you have some material desire for this world. What is Vaidhi Marg propelled by? What is the energy behind Vaidhi Bhakti? It's fear. That is what motivates you. I'm afraid if I don't serve Krishna, I will go to hell. I'm afraid if I don't come to the temple, something bad will happen. I'm afraid if I don't come to the temple, I won't have my desires fulfilled. So I go to the temple because I want my desires fulfilled. This is called Vaidhi Bhakti. And this is what most of the world are performing, but that's not what Mahaprabhu came for. He came for Rag, Mag, Bhakti, Loke, Karite, Prachan. He came to give the world Raganuga Bhakti. So important to understand this. It's the real heartbeat of the Vaishnavas, of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, not Vaidhi Bhakti. We practice Vaidhi Bhakti. We go to Mangalati, we follow Ekadashi, we chant fixed number. All of this is Vaidhi Bhakti. But unless the mood, which is coming to Bhav, is the goal. It's like, for example, when you're chanting Hare Krishna. Your English is good? You understand what I'm saying? If you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's like you're filling the car with petrol. You're getting so much power in the body, but where are you going to drive the car? Where will you drive it? Unless you understand the Tattva and Siddhanta to reach the Prayojan, to reach Prem. You have to understand the road to reach there. If you don't know the road, what will you do with the Shakti from chanting Hare Krishna? What will you do with it? Speculate. Kalpana. Imagine. But there's a path, there's a kram. What did Rupa Goswami say? Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtana Smitya Kramana Rasana Manasityoja. Tishten Braje Tanuragi Janugami. This is from the Upadeshamrita. That we should associate with those residents of Vrindavan. Those are the qualified devotees. That is the residence of Vrindavan. We always are praying for this higher association, looking for it. If you're hungry for it, Krishna will give you it. He will lead you in that direction. And association means swajatiya, which means the same mood. Mahaprabhu has come specifically to give Manjari Bhav. This is why he's come. He hasn't come for any other reason. All of our acharyas, Rupa Manjari, Sanatana Goswami is Lavanga Manjari, Raghunath Das is Rati Manjari, Raghunath Bhatta is Rasa Manjari, Jiva Goswami is Vilas Manjari, Narottam Das is also Vilasa Manjari, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is Vinod Manjari, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is Kamala Manjari. All are Manjaris, all, the whole line, because this is what Mahaprabhu has come to give. He hasn't come to give Sakhi Bhav. No. You're not ever going to be qualified to join the Rasa Leela and dance. Those are coming from Radharani's own Kaya Vyuha, her own expansions. Their Stai Bhav from the very beginning was the qualification to dance with Krishna. You want to dance with Krishna? This is such a high place. But we don't have that qualification. We have the qualification to serve those Sakhis and to serve ultimately Sri Radhika. Why do we have the qualification? Because Mahaprabhu has given it to us. Mahaprabhu has not come empty-handed. He's come with so much jewels in his hand to give. This verse, Anapita Chirim Chirat, means not for a long, long time. This verse is written by Rupa Goswami. And Krishnadas Kaviraj in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he glorifies Rupa Goswami by making it part of his Mangalacharya. So this Anapita Chirim Chirat, not for a long, long time has this been given. How much time? A whole day of Lord Brahma, like he was saying. What about the day before? So it's referring to that much time. Understand? Anapita Chirim Chirat, Karunai Vartanokala, with great karuna, great compassion. This, and then he's come to taste himself this Unnata Ujjvala Prem. Anapita Chirim Chirat, Karunai Vartanokala, Samara Paitam Unnata Ujjvala Ras. Mahaprabhu has come to taste himself that Unnata Ujjvala Ras, that Radhika enjoys with Krishna. Not that Krishna enjoys with Radhika, because Radhika is higher. And what has he come to give? This Swa Bhakti Shriyam. What does Swa mean? It means own. Swa Bhakti, own Bhakti. What is Krishna's Bhakti? What is Krishna's own devotion? It's Radhika. That is his devotion. Swa Bhakti Shriyam. What does Shriyam mean? It means beauty. What is the beauty of Sri Radhika at its highest is her manjaris. That is her beauty. The manjaris are like the same limbs as Radha. Radha can slap the manjaris. Hey, do this, do this. The manjaris can come into the kunj at the most intimate time. If Radha and Krishna are enjoying conjugal pastimes and their hair becomes entangled with their jewelry, becomes the manjaris can come in and undo while they're enjoying their conjugal pastimes, because they're the same as Radhika. They're like her manifestations. So that's what Mahaprabhu has come to give us, the qualification to attain that stage. And that won't be fulfilled in one lifetime, because it's a very high qualification. If you develop the desire now to have that goal, then in your next birth, like I just described, you can take birth from the womb of a gopi and associate with those manjaris who will give you that stai bhav. That stai bhav is called bhavalas. That means the natural tendency just to serve Radhika. Radhika is our Ishtadev. Radhika is the Ishtadeva of the Gaudiyas, not Krishna. Krishna is chasing Radhika. I am chasing Radhika. We are all chasing Radhika. Because she has the most love for Krishna. That's why. She loves Krishna more than anybody else. So if I want to love Krishna, I should serve her. And then I will also love Krishna. But I will love her first. Because Krishna wants to taste her love. Because her love is higher than Krishna's. Krishna can't taste the sugar. But Radhika can taste it. And it's giving her this Adiruda Mahabhav. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to sink the consciousness into this. Where else are we going to sink our consciousnesses? Happy home, happy families. How many times have we done this in many lives? So many times. Not even just in human birth.
Can you talk something about chanting which can inspire devotees to chant more?
To hear these topics. He's asking what will inspire you to chant more. For me, hearing these topics inspires me to want to come closer to these topics by the potency of the chanting. 16 rounds a day will just keep you afloat, your head a little bit up from Maya. It's like in English we say treading water. You're not actually moving, but you're just keeping a little bit clean and you're keeping your head up. 16 will give you that. 32, you'll start to move. You actually realize I've got arms, I can swim, I can go more than just tread. And then 48 rounds a day, then you're starting to really move. And 64, you're running, you're flying on the water. Right, Ma? She knows. No, but the Shakti that Mahaprabhu has come to give us is contained within the sound vibration of the holy name. And the more we're able to associate with that sound vibration. Sound is the first subtle quality in the whole world. From sound comes air or ether. It's the very first, the most subtle quality is sound vibration. With sound vibration, everything happens from sound. This whole universal manifestation has happened from sound. That's where it's come from. Sound vibration. So when we connect with the sound vibration of the holy name deeply, we should gradually try, if we're chanting, don't ever chant 16, at least chant 17 rounds. At least break out of that box. Don't just chant 6 or even 4, but whatever we chant, we should chant regularly. It's no good chanting 4 one day, 18 the next day, 4 the next day, 3. This, your mind will just go up and down, up and down, up and down. And for this you have to make a regular routine. If you decide, yes, I want this Bhava Bhakti, I want this Prema Bhakti, then I have to set my whole rhythm of my life focused on this. Whatever I'm doing in my occupation, I have to try to include it. If I have to walk to work or take a bus to work or something, then I can be chanting. In the breaks that I have, I can be looking at some Krishna book. Because it's easy just to say these things, but unless you bring them into your life. And everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different rasa with Krishna. It's actually not an institution. If you think it's all the same and all one, you're wrong. It's all about the individual, individually connecting. I said this many times. When Krishna played his flute and called all the gopis to come, they weren't thinking, oh, we're all being called to go to Krishna. No, they just heard their name. Lalita, Chitra, Champakala, they just heard their own name. And they thought they were running through the dangerous forest by themselves. They had to make that decision to cut their family ties. They had to cut their ties with their family by themselves. It's an individual journey. And they were thinking they were just running to the forest to meet Krishna. And when they got there, they found all these other gopis were there. Because sometimes if you're in a group, it gives you security. Oh, everyone thinks like this, so I'll think like that. But at the end, that's not going to be strong enough. You need to have your own independent appreciation. Then you can bring that independence to the group. Then you're giving your independence, but not just like following the group like a robot. If they all do that, put tilak on, wear the kurta, everything, we all do that. But you have to think for yourself. So it's very important, indeed, to be responsible. Prabhupada even talks about this in the first canto. He says, the time of death you fly your own plane.
Yeah.
Mother's not next to you. Father's not there. No one else. They're not your real mother and father. Not your eternal mother and father anyway. It's nimitic, it's temporary. So again, we have to realize this first lesson in spiritual life. I'm not this material body. I'm the spirit soul. And if we stay in association of devotees who like to hear these topics, then very quickly we can progress. But if we're out of association, alone, it's very hard. I think I have to come to Mysore to be with you all. You have a temple in Mysore?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can come?
Please, please.
Really?
Yes,
It's ISKCON temple?
yes, Maharaj.
Will I be welcome? I'm not welcome in
Yes,
ISKCON.
yes,
No, I'm banned. Not allowed. Because my guru is Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. And ISKCON have policy. This is institution, you see. In institution you have to make rules. Otherwise it's not an institution. But Bhakti Devi cannot be bound by rules. Bhakti Devi is free, flying. But in an institutional environment you have to cut the wings. Everyone has to be controlled. I have to have the GBC. I have to have this. All this controlling tendency has to be there. Otherwise you haven't got an institution. And it's a wonderful institution if you want to be controlled. But at some point your own desire to be with Radha and Krishna will become more strong. And sometimes you can stay in the institution and they won't make a problem for you. And other times you have to jump out or they will make a problem. So every single case is different. Not all the same. Nothing is stereotyped. But institution, they like to make stereotype because it's the only way to manage. You cannot manage an institution without it. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati himself has said that Bhakti Devi cannot flourish in an institutional environment. Do you want God or do you want the institution? They're not the same. There's a difference, actually. I was 17 years in ISKCON. And I love ISKCON. But today I'm not welcome. I can't go across and speak in the temple. No way. My name is Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Swami. Bhaktivedanta means I'm connected to Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. Like Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada got his title from Srila Bhaktivedanta Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Actually, it's all one family. Why do we fight? This fighting is called secular. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said this secular distinction is the enemy of truth. You should not fight. We are little jivas in this world, trying to come to Krishna. We all struggling with our own difficulties and deficiencies. If now you're getting strength from that society and institution, that's very, very good. Then you should stay there in that institution. But you should know the distinction. You should know how to respect someone who's not in the institution also. But it's not necessary for bhakti. Our goal should be on bhakti.
Yes.
And what is bhakti? And Mahaprabhu has not come to give bhakti. He's come to give bhakti ras. He's come to give braja ras, braja prem. This is what he's come to give. Not just bhakti.
But there's a difference, bhakti and bhakti rasa.
So much difference. Bhakti is like Vaidhi bhakti. Bhakti is the rules and regulations. And that is necessary. The person who is on the path of Raganuga Bhakti is always following the path of Vaidhi, externally. But internally, he's following the path of Raganuga Bhakti. You always follow the path of Vaidhi Bhakti. Raghunath Das Goswami is our Prayojan Acharya. It's described he had the rules and regulations carved like stone within him. He would never go outside of the external rules and regulations. Same with my Gurudev. But internally, what was he relishing? His service directly to Sri Radhika. So externally we follow Vaidhi Bhakti, but internally we follow Raganuga Bhakti. And it's our responsibility to understand what is Raganuga Bhakti. What does it mean? Rag means that greed. This is the distinction between Vaidhi Bhakti internally and Raganuga. Vaidhi Bhakti, you're very afraid. You're afraid if you do something wrong, some criticism will come or some negative thing. So everything is energy by fear. But Raganuga, all the energy is by greed. I want to do this, I want to do that. This is much stronger in the end. Anyway, I think I've said enough.
Anaga means sinless.
Huh?
Anaga means sinless.
Sinless.
Yeah.
Anagami. Sinless.
No, anaga means the word anaga. It means sinless.
Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, Krishna says.
Chapter?
Bhagavad Gita chapter 3,
Chapter
third verse.
Third verse.
Lokesmin vivedanishta pura prokta mayanaga.
Aha. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to look that up straight away. Chapter 3, third verse.
Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful name. Beautiful name. I've touched on a few points about Mahaprabhu and this holy place of Navadvip Dham, Goradham is filled with mercy. When you go to the Yog Pit, when you go to Sriva Sangam, you remember all these beautiful pastimes. I'll give you another book before you go about Sriva Sangam and many aspects. Just a small, but it's very beautiful book. And if we love Mahaprabhu, we'll want to know who are his associates. Today, do you know whose disappearance day it is? Vakrashra Pandit, yes. Such a great... All of Mahaprabhu's associates are Nitya Siddha Parikas. They've all come with him. Vakrashra Pandit is Aniruddha from Dwarka. Actually not from Dwarka, but from the Chatuvyuha. Beyond. So Vakrashra Pandit would be a dancer. He asked for 10,000 Gandharvas to dance with him. He could dance for 3 days and 3 nights not stop. And he had so many followers. His disciple is Gopal Guru, who when you go to Puri you see in the Gambhira, Radhakant's place. Yeah. So many things. And today is also Hira Panchami. Again, this Hira Panchami festival is showing why Mahaprabhu came. In that Hira Panchami festival, Lakshmi Dev is coming to catch the ear of her Jagannath and bring him back to the Mandir. He's been gone for 5 days. Why is he not back? She's very angry. She comes with all her army, her soldiers, and they want to beat Jagannath. They can't go inside the Gambhira because she's not qualified. In the Gucci, she can't go in the Gundicha because she's not qualified. But Mahaprabhu, he's watching this drama. And Srivas Thakur is there in the mood of Narada Muni. Srivas Thakur, he has 4 swarups. He has Narada Muni, Madhu Mangal, Naradiya, and Srivas Thakur. 4 personalities. So he takes the mood of Narada Muni and he's saying, look at this mother Lakshmi Dev, she's so powerful. They have so much beautiful jewels, gold. Or what do these gopis in Vrindavan have? They only have flowers, cows, you know, huh? Dung, cow dung, yes. What do they have? They have nothing. But look what Lakshmi Devi has. But the gopis, then Swarabdhamma, who is who? Lalita Devi. She starts to respond to Srivas Thakur. What do you mean? The cows in Vrindavan? They are Kamandenu. You can have anything from those cows of Vrindavan. And the flowers, they're Chintamani. You can have anything from the flowers. You can, but they just use them for making garlands. They don't have any of those material desires. So then Srivas Thakur, he hears this, then he takes the form of Madhu Mangal, and he starts making funny sounds. Everyone's laughing, because he is the embodiment of Hasya Ras. And then he's laughing very happily, and everyone becomes happy. But this is the supremacy of Vrindavan over the Aishwarya of Dwarka. This is the distinction between Rag Marg and Vaidhi Bhakti. Essentially, underneath. So many truths to unpack. Most of you are quite young. You have 40, 50 years left, 60 years, 70 years left. Mother doesn't have so many. To open up all these pastimes have never been more published today than ever before. When Mahaprabhu was on the planet, not so many people, not even his associates, understood the real nature of Raganuga Bhakti. Rupa Goswami did. All the Goswamis did. But Advaita Acharya was understanding Bhakti, but not Bhakti Ras to the same degree. Nityananda, he's Ananga Manjari in the spiritual world, so of course he's understanding all that. But many of the other, Paramananda Puri is who Udan, and many of the other associates, they couldn't understand these topics. But today, the Acharyas, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, Rupa Goswami himself, Sanatana Goswami, they've all given us, they've opened the whole box. We have it all there available. Don't reject it. Don't think I should only read. Prabhupada is saying in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, all my disciples should read this Jaivadharma. And don't think any nonsense that we just fell from the spiritual world. This is completely bogus. If you think you fell from the spiritual world, you have no faith in Krishna. Really you don't. Krishna is the source, the origin of all beauty. He's called Lavanamrita, the most beautiful. If you saw Krishna, you could never take your eyes away from him. You have never been in the spiritual world. You are manifested from the Brahmajyoti. Jaivadharma explains that. There are three types of jivas. There's those in Madhuryadam, those in Aishwaryadam, Vaikuntha, and those coming from the Brahmajyoti or Tatashta region. That is us. We have come from that place. We've come from the Brahmajyoti. We were in Shantaras, a permanent, eternal, spiritual place. And we came into the body of Mahavishnu because we wanted to be like God. We have never been God. If we had been with God, we would never think that. It's a huge, huge, actually, apparat. It's been misunderstood. And this is a big problem, because you can't understand the truth if you don't understand. It's like doing a mathematical equation and you think 1 + 1 = 3. You got the thing wrong from the very beginning. There's not a single Acharya who has said like this. Not one. Prabhupada, here's my phone. In 7th canto, oh, you see that phone behind your rucksack? Yes, that iPhone. Being charged. Yes, pass it. Oh my God, left the light on. Let me read it to you, because you won't believe me. You only believe the
We believe.
Huh? I'm going to have to read it to you. Be patient. I'm patient. But I want to read you this. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. What Prabhupada wrote in his commentaries, in his purports, is truth. He may have said other things at other times called time, place and circumstance. This is not scripture. If you look in 7th canto, chapter 1, verse, I thought it was 34, maybe it's 35. Oh, 35. Verse 35. This is what Prabhupada is saying. Listen. Therefore, this is the pastime about Jai and Vijay falling. Therefore, it is to be understood that when Jai and Vijay descended to this material world, 7-1 35 I'm reading from. Therefore it is to be understood that when Jai and Vijay descended to this material world, they came because there was something to be done for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why they came here. Because they had a function, a mission. Otherwise, Prabhupada is saying, it is a fact that no one falls from Vaikuntha. Now how are you going to make a whole apasidantic statement to say that we all fell from Vaikuntha? It's wrong. It's apasiddhanta. It's against the conclusion of Shastra. So at least this point you should consider. And if you understand it, you don't have to make a big fight about it and tell everybody, because they already know. Just quietly understand that we did not fall from Vaikuntha. Not even a leaf falls from Vaikuntha. That is the spiritual realm. Why would someone, they say, became envious? You cannot become envious, because you're in a land of God. The word envy only applies in this material world. It doesn't apply in the spiritual world at all.
Also Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yadgatvana nivartante.
Yes.
Yadgatvana nivartante tadhama paramam.
Yes. Give me the translation.
Once you come back to me, you never
Yes, you can't.
return.
No, you can't return. But language in English, like going back to Godhead, makes it feel like we are going home. And there's an example of this. It's like, for example, say you shift to England with your husband, and say you have a child in England, and after 10 years you say to your child, we're going back home to India. The child's never been to India, but it's his home. But he's never been there. So we've never been to the spiritual world, but it's our home. Because we are spiritual. And when we're actually we're manifested by Baladev Prabhu in the Brahmajyoti. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati writes a very beautiful essay. I'll share it with you. It's on my website. Make sure I give them all my cards before they go. And in this essay, listen, this is the connecting understanding. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is saying, before we acquired material designation, that means a material body, we were in Shantaras, in the Brahmajyoti. That's like the Gyanis. They want Brahmabhuta Prasanatma na sochati na kanchati. No suffering, no lamentation, no desires. That was our position in the Brahmajyoti. And then at some point, our individual soul, it comes to the consciousness by Krishna's mercy. My consciousness beyond Shantaras, because the nature of the soul is not neutral. Shantaras means neutral. And my nature, my staibhav, my eternal soul is not neutral. So that soul wakes up, and at that point when it wakes up, it has a choice to listen to the beautiful Vedic mantras and be influenced towards the spiritual world, or to see the opportunity to be like God. We all thought, oh, I want to be like God. And as soon as we think like that, we go into the body of Mahavishnu. And then by the glance of Mahavishnu, we're coming into this world. Through Shambhu, carries the glance. And then our whole material, we've turned away.
This
Vimukh it's called.
there's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Sorry?
There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that says, Krishna Buliyaji Bhogavanchakare.
Yes.
Nikadastha Mayata Chapatiyadare.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Tell me, what is the verse number? I know this verse, but you have to refresh me on it. Do you know that I'm happy to meet an educated man. It's really nice. I love it. Which verse and chapter? Do you remember?
1 point.
Adi Leela? Oh, I have it in here. Krishna Boliye. I should know this verse.
Krishna
He's
Buliyaji.
showing my weaknesses. It's very good. I'm happy. But I'll find it quicker than you. Krishna
Buliyaji.
Bulia Se Jiva Anadi Bakyamuk.
Krishna
193.
Buliyaji Bhogavanchakare.
193. see. 193.
आशते माया तारे झापटी यदर
193. The jiva who has become deviated from Krishna has been preoccupied with the external material potency since time immemorial. Consequently, Krishna's deluding potency, Maya, gives him misery in the form of material existence. Krishna boli se jiva anadi bahir mukh, athaiva maya tare daya samsara dukh.
There's one more verse. Krishna buliya ji bhogavancha kare आशते माया तारे झापटी यदर.
Okay, I don't have that one. What number is that? What is the reference? All of this is, it's not, sometimes people say, does it matter whether we came from there or not? The point is that we're here. And they don't want to think about it. But that's denial of the truth. You should always want to know what is the truth. Because the truth is there in the scripture. The truth is there in the Vedas.
This Prabhupada is referred this in 4th canto, 25th chapter.
Just a minute. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto,
25th chapter,
25th chapter.
25th verse.
Oops. 25th chapter, 25th verse.
Yeah.
These phones are so good, aren't they? 25th. Okay. Puranjan, the hero, became attracted by the eye. This one?
Yes, refer
Every
that in
living entity is a hero in two ways. When he is a victim of the illusory energy, he works as a great hero in the material world.
This reference is about Krishna Bahimukha Ana.
Let me see.
Bhogavancha kare nikatastha
Ah, got
Maya
it.
Tare.
It is said in the Prem Vivar that when a
Yeah.
living entity wants to enjoy material nature, he is immediately victimized by the material energy. Yes, we decided that we wanted to enjoy the material nature. That's what I just said.
Okay.
We were sitting in the Brahmajyoti and we wanted to enjoy the material nature more than we wanted to look at Krishna. In here it's really described beautifully in chapter 16 of Jaiva Dharma. If you look in chapter 16, this is so beautifully described. He's first of all he's talking innumerable jivas appear from Sri Baladev Prabhu, and then from Sankarshan in Vaikuntha, two sorts of jivas, and then there are also innumerable atomic conscious jivas who emanate as the rays in Karanadakshay Mahavishnu. They're completely different. It doesn't say that those jivas were there,
Yeah.
and it describes the jivas in the spiritual world. Since they reside in the spiritual world, Maya is very far away. So how can envy come in? Maya is far away. Why should Mahamaya be in the spiritual world? It's not there. That means you don't really believe in the spiritual world if you think that we came from there.
Yeah.
That means you're an atheist.
Understood.
That's what that Apasiddhanta leads you to, that conclusion. It doesn't lead you to a conclusion of theism. It can't. It doesn't hold, Prabhu. When you look what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when you look what Krishnadas Kaviraj says, when you look what Jiva Goswami says, when you look what any of the previous acharyas, none of them will say like that. And Prabhupada has not said like that. I've just read that quote. It's a fact that no one falls from the spiritual world, from Vaikuntha. He said it. What more proof do we need?
Yeah.
So I actually know the history. I can tell you one day of how that apasiddhantic idea came about. But no need for saying that. But at the same time, you should know that we did not fall from the spiritual world. So really and truly, if you're in a society that claims that you did, you're in the wrong society. It doesn't make sense, Prabhu. It doesn't ring up. You know, this philosophy is so sublime. It's truth on every single aspect. These jewels, diamonds of truth. Why should we sit with something that is untruth amongst it? It creates problem. Krishna won't like it. Krishna will rectify it. The younger generation already know this. The younger generation can't figure it out how we fell from Vaikuntha. It just doesn't make sense. Any thinking person doesn't make. So they already know, all the roots are there. and as the older devotees leave this world, then this real philosophy will actually, because they'll look what Prabhupada actually said, what were his real words. And also in the Bhagavad Gita that you read, you have to read the version prior to 1972. If you read after 72, there's just too many Siddhantic changes. You can't play with the words of the Mahabhagavad. So these two things you should take away. Not that you make a big fuss about it or drama. I don't think I'm talking revolution here or anything. I'm not. Mahaprabhu, though, was the greatest revolutionary. And he was the greatest non-conformist preacher. Mahaprabhu would walk around South India with his arms in the air just saying, "Chant Hare Krishna, everyone." They all thought he's completely, but they loved him because he was so beautiful. He had Radharani's kanti, her mood, her complexion, shining to everybody, so everyone could feel attracted to him. But what he actually did was completely, what we say in English, out of the box. So don't be afraid to let your wings go for bhakti, and then great strength will come. If you're in sync with Shastra, always we have to hold Shastra. Srimad Bhagavatam in particular. Do you read the Hindi of the Bhagavad Gita?
Kannada.
Kannada.
And English.
But I'm sure the Kannada.
No, they made a rule that the Macmillan edition.
The what?
The Macmillan.
Pre-1972.
You all have that.
Yes.
I'm so happy to hear that. You're safe. So long as you understand clearly this point that we didn't fall from Vaikuntha. You don't have to make a revolution about it. You just have to quietly assimilate it and understand, if I had been in Vaikuntha, why would I want to leave someone the most beautiful person in the world? Why would I want to leave? Why would you want to leave? You would be more than a fool. You wouldn't want to leave. Okay. Why?
When Mahavishnu want to
He's attracted to Maya Devi. He glances.
from his eyes coming out jivas.
Yeah.
It is
One
called-
jiva comes. It's called
It is-
Hiranyagarbha. It's like the amalgamation of all jivas.
Yes,
A single seed of the jiva comes.
I
Yes.
read about this. It is actually very complex process.
No.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur described it in one book. I read it before.
Yeah.
It is, he used Shiva Lingam.
Yes.
And where can read this written about this?
In Srimad Bhagavatam, it explains everything. Shambhu.
Mahatattva.
Listen, I'll tell you in 2 minutes. It's not complicated. Mahavishnu is attracted to Maya Devi for a moment. And that attraction, his wife, Rama Devi, understands. She wants to fulfill his desires. So she creates the halo, the illumination, the jyoti, the glance. And then from Mahavishnu's eyes, when he's looking at Mahamaya, just for a moment, with attraction to Mahamaya, she's so attractive, she's attracted all of us. And then Shivji, Shambhu. There's 4 aspects of Shiva. There's Gopeshwar Mahadev, Sadashiva, Shambhu, and Rudra. These are the 4 Shiva aspects. And then Shambhu, he carries that glance as the lingam, and he impregnates his wife, Durga Ma. Her womb is called the Adara Shakti, and this is the pradhan. Before the seed enters, it's exactly the same as a female, that she has all the ingredients to produce a child, but it's just a mess until the seed enters. So similarly, this pradhan is called like a homogeneous, nothing is together. But when the seed enters, then immediately, because time as well as the jiva enters, time and the jiva come in together in that light. That's what's in the light. The jyoti coming from Mahavishnu is time and the jiva. Because outside of this material manifestation, there is no time. Time doesn't exist. So time has to come in, and the jiva comes in and impregnates his wife, Durga Ma. That's the lingam, and then bottom is the yoni. So that's the nature of creative, this cosmic manifestation, not a big deal. And then as soon as the time comes in, it agitates the three modes of material nature. And then everything begins from there. And then it's called Prakriti, not Pradhan anymore. Understand?
Gopeshwar, Mahadev, Sadashiv, Shambhu, and one more aspect.
Rudra.
Rudra in this world, before the eyes of
11
Lord Brahma.
Rudras in our
Rudra in this
11
world.
Rudras.
11 Rudras, yeah, he manifests for destruction, for the destruction of the worlds. Gopeshwar Mahadev is actually manifest from Krishna immediately to protect the Rasa Leela. In the Rasa Leela pastimes, Krishna wants to enjoy in Vamsivat, and there are many negative influences that could actually come. So he needs a Ketrapal, that is Gopeshwar Mahadev. He becomes the Ketrapal, he becomes the
Kshetrapal.
Chetrapal, yes. My language is hopeless. You know, I'm not a linguist at all. I can't even speak Bengali. I've been living in India for almost more than 30 years. And my Hindi is very less. My Bengali is like zero. I've been living for 7 years here. I just haven't taken the time. I'm so much reading all the Shastras all the time, chanting Hare Krishna all the time, just maintaining myself. And I speak to so many people in English. I'm just making excuses for my laziness in learning the language. But if I come to Mysore, maybe you can teach me something.